Hello everyone, I'm back. I know it's been like a month or over a month. Today's February 1st. I think the last time I vlogged was in December, like the end of December. But anyways, I've been trying to make a video, but it's just been really hard with a newborn. He's gonna be 4 weeks tomorrow, and on the 5th he'll be exactly a month, which is weird. It doesn't make any sense, but anyways, whatever. So I just wanted to talk about my birth story. Well, not my birth, but my baby's birth story, and everything that happened, because a lot happened. But anyways, he was born January 5th at 7:58 a.m. He weighed 7 pounds 14 ounces, and he measured 21 and 3/4 of an inch, so almost 22 inches. And I had to deliver via cesarean, C-section. And I was 41 weeks. Yes, I was past 40 weeks, probably closer to 42 to be honest. I had scheduled my induction. I was scheduled to be induced on the 3rd. So we showed up to the hospital on January 3rd around 9 p.m. I believe. Yeah. We got in and they started everything. They IV'd me. Everything was going well. And then boom, they're like, okay, we're going to test you for COVID. And I was like, okay, that's fine, whatever. I felt very confident. Next thing you know, the nurse comes back in. They always wear a mask, but this time she, like 10 minutes later, she comes back into the room and she's like in this whole suit and she's like, so you tested positive.
What? What the fuck?
We were shook. We were like, what do you mean? Was very unexpected. So they're like, yes, you tested positive. And so they're like, we're gonna treat you. My husband was there, so they said, you know, you both are gonna have to stay in here, and if she has it, you have it. We really didn't have any symptoms. A few days prior, 3 days prior, I had a lot of like sinuses, just like congestion. I really didn't have like fevers or anything, so it's weird. I thought it was normal because it's normal for me to get sinus congestion, and it was just like a runny nose, and that happens to me almost every winter, so it wasn't like uncommon. So I really didn't think it was COVID. I don't know if it was COVID or if I got it after. Who knows, because my husband was fine. And he was like, well, I don't have anything. And so, to make a story short, we put it together. My mom, she got it, most likely from work. And so then she came and obviously spread it here. But it kind of didn't affect us right away because, like I said, I only had sinus congestion, and like the day we went to deliver, I was already like sinus free. Like I wasn't sneezing, I was fine. So I don't know, because by the end of the week I did start having, the only thing that I had was a loss of taste, and that was it. And like smell, like you can't really smell or taste, so that was about it. And my husband did start feeling sick a few days. So like we got there on Sunday. By Tuesday morning he was feeling like fever, but it was very mild, nothing serious, thank God. But anyways, so we get there, they tell us that. Of course we felt terrible because we're at a hospital, and you know, the nurses there, they're so amazing and so nice. The last thing you want to do is get anyone sick because they have families. So I was really upset, I was really bummed out. But they were very nice, and they were like, don't worry about it, it's like happening a lot, most of the moms are coming in positive, but still. And then of course the anxiety and the fear, because you're like, I'm gonna get my baby sick. So it's a lot. So I should have known that it was gonna be a shit show moving forward. So of course, they continue with like inducing me and giving me treatment and everything. Again, they were very nice. The only thing is that they had to literally put on this whole damn like space outfit before they could go in. And so they gave me medication to induce me. They started that night. I had like really bad pain in my back, like cramps. What sucked is because I'm being induced and they're trying to make my cervix open. I can't move. They kind of have me in a specific position, and so I'm either like on one side or the other side. They put like balloons in between your legs. By balloons, I mean like those exercise balls, and so that was really hard because, you know, when you're in pain, you kind of want to move. You want to, you know, ease it by moving, or, and I, point is I couldn't. I had to just lay there and take it. So that was exhausting. I feel like I got so much IV and fluids by the end of, because I got there Sunday night. I think I got back home on Friday. I was there almost like the whole week. I was like super swollen with fluids. My feet were swollen. They put the pressure thing on, so it's like automatically going on and off all day. I had literally like hickey bruises all over my arms, both, because it was like squeezing me so much. I had every vein poked. Like I had this one. The IV was here, and then they even poked a little vein here because my veins were like, we're done with you. So, and of course they take blood every day that you're there, and obviously all the medication are going through all the IVs. So, like I was saying, back to the story. They started me that night. I had a lot of cramps. Well, I don't know if they're cramps. I'm sorry. I'm guessing like contractions, because in the monitor they put these things around your belly and they monitor the baby and you. And she was like, "Oh yeah, they're coming." So I was like, "Yeah, because I could feel them." So we were like that all night, and then the next day, at some point, they were like, "Oh, are you gonna get the epidural?" And I was like, "Yeah, I was just trying to hold it off till, you know, it was time." And they're like, "Well, the doctor wants to put in a balloon too." So this procedure they do is they put like a balloon in there to open your cervix. It's not literally like a balloon, but it's essentially a balloon. And it helps force your uterus to open. So they're like, in order to do it, we need you, because it's very painful. They are like, people really can't tolerate it without the epidural. So I was like, okay, bring it, sis. So then they come, and they give you the epidural. That's also like a weird ass experience. So they have you turn around, and they want you to like bend down, but you have this huge belly. They want you to bend down, and then they want you to push out with your spine. And then they're like stabbing you in your spine. So yeah, that was gnarly. And so they went ahead and gave me the epidural. This is the thing. I had looked it up, so I knew what an epidural was. They forgot to tell me, like, here's your little hand button thing, so you can manually, because it's supposed to be automatically putting in medicine to help you. But they also give you the little button so you can push to give you more in case you're like, I'm in pain. So she never gave it to me. So I'm just thinking like, okay, because I could feel, like, it was weird. Like I don't know if maybe when she put it in, it pinched more towards one side, because I felt like one side of my body was more numb, like my leg, and the other one wasn't. Like it felt like tingly. So yeah, so I knew it was in my system. I just like could still feel pain. It wasn't like completely helping me or anything. Like, I was still feeling all my contractions that whole day. So I was just like, this is bullshit. I was like, this epidural did nothing. I didn't really feel when they put in the balloon or the catheter, because they had to do that. So I knew it was working, but I just thought to myself, damn, they really don't lie when they say that these shits really, really hurt. Because it wasn't really, I was still in pain, basically. So, turns out, so yeah, before I get to that. So they didn't tell me about the damn button. So I was just laying there getting the minimal amount of drugs. So, they had like that all day to see if that would help me. And so then basically the next day in the morning, oh, and then that night I had fevers. So yes, I had like fevers. They weren't extremely high fevers. Well, I don't know. They're like 100 degrees. I wasn't like 102 or 103. I think it was like always at 100. 100 point something. So, they obviously had me like with all these tubes, and I think I had like 30 tubes coming out of me. One, the balloon, another one to measure contractions, then the catheter, then the two baby monitor things around my belly, and they had me laying to the sides with the peanut and the balloons in between my legs, and it was crazy. And they had me like that all day with fever, and then at nighttime I had fevers, and then I got the shivers, and it was crazy. It was like the worst feeling. I think that was like a really, really, really weird, and I hated that feeling. Like, I kept shaking. My teeth were, I thought they were gonna like shatter because they were just like da 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 da. Like, it was weird. Like, my body was literally shaking, and I just felt this intense cold. I just felt like I wanted to be wrapped in fire. I just wanted a blanket, and they were like, okay, we're gonna leave you uncovered so that because you have a fever. So of course I couldn't, and that was scary. I think my husband watching me laying there shivering and sweating and with all these things coming at me, I think that kind of freaked him out. Because I did look like terrible. So it was a rough night. At some point during that day, I think I told the nurse, I'm in a lot of pain. And she was like, oh, have you pushed the little button? And then I was like, what button? And she was like, oh. And then she gave me the damn thing. So I was pissed. Because then I figured out I could give myself more. And then I was able to, like, calm the pain down a bit. So that sucked. So, so that was all on Monday. Tuesday morning, doctor comes in, checks me again. And even to check me, that shit was like a shit show. Nobody could figure out or get in there far enough. That was insane and painful. So she comes in, she checks me, and of course she's like, didn't really work. I think I only, and then I feel like she was trying to be nice about it and said like I only dilated like 6 centimeters. I feel like it was probably less. So she just, the doctor said, you know what, it looks like we're just gonna have to go ahead and do a cesarean. And I said, let's do the damn thing. I said, you know, I'm not a quitter, and I feel like we tried our best. You know, they did so much. I was already exhausted at that point, obviously. It had been already 30 something hours. I just was ready for the next thing. So it was really fast. I think that was like around a little bit before 7. And she's like, okay, we're going to get you ready for surgery. And then they started getting me ready for surgery. Now, pause. Before I get into going to surgery, that morning, my husband woke up not feeling well. He had a bit of a fever, and he just was not feeling well. He started to have symptoms. You know, I think under everything and just everything going on, the pressure and the circumstances and everything, and maybe it freaked him out, and he I don't know. I thought he could be, I thought he was fine. I felt like he could handle it, but I guess he didn't. And so in that morning, right when the nurse came in, even before we talked about going into surgery, he tells them, you know, I'm not feeling well. Is it possible for me to get any medication? Of course not. I knew right then and there. I was like, oh shit, like they're gonna ask him to leave, right? Because he's not feeling well. So sure enough, they were like, you know what? If you have a fever, if you're not feeling well, you should go to the emergency. You know, da da da. And to make that short, you know, he obviously was like, no, no, I don't. I'm fine. And but they were like, no. So I didn't want to have problems with the hospital, and I said, you know, you're not feeling well. It's best you go home. You know, get some fluids, get some Tylenol, something, and you to help you. So unfortunately, he had to leave. So I was there alone. So that happened exactly when they were telling me to go into surgery. Like it was all happening at the same damn time. So it was a lot happening. So he ends up leaving like exactly like at 7, and that's when they take me into surgery. And so they obviously, they were so nice. They were like, we're really sorry, you know, they're like, we get it, this is, you know, your baby, and we want you to be happy and stuff. So they were like, if you can get anyone to come, and which was really nice. They really wanted me to not be alone and feel good, but I said, of course not, because I'm sick and I don't want to get anyone sick. So I said, unfortunately, I'm just going to have to be in this alone. So they get me ready. They rolled me off into the surgery room, and everybody was very nice. The nurses were so nice. I'm trying to say the word, anesthesiologist. He was so nice. He was fun, and he had a good sense of humor, and he really was like kind to me because they knew I was alone. And so they asked if I wanted it to FaceTime or record, and of course I said yes. So they called my husband, and he was able to see when the baby was born. So that was really nice. They're really nice. You know, a cesarean is gnarly as fuck. Obviously, like you don't feel pain, but you feel all the tugging. You low-key feel when they're cutting you. Now, when I say feel, like again, it's not pain. It's just like the pressure. Like you feel like stuff happening. I felt like they had to give me so much drugs, and they put that through your epidural. So, and then he injected something through my IV that burned. Oh my god, it was so painful. So, it was just funny because he's like, oh, you're gonna feel pressure, and a lot of people think they can't breathe. And I was like, great. Like, don't tell me, because now it's gonna be in my mind, you know? But the only thing I think I felt was like kind of queasy, and I would tell him like, I don't feel really good, and they would give me something, and it kind of would make me feel not nasty like that. So yeah, they put the drugs through there, so you don't feel anything from your like hips down, I believe is right. So yeah, so if they go in, they cut you, you can't really see anything, they cover it, you're like this with your arms on the side. I don't know why your arms have to be on the side, because low-key that was like tripping me out. I felt like my legs were gonna fall off the table, the surgery table. I don't know, it was like a weird feeling. I felt like I was like holding myself, which I probably wasn't, but it was weird because my legs weren't flat. They had to kind of have them like up a little bit. It was weird. It was weird experience. And so once they cut open, like it takes like a little bit to get in there, and like I'm assuming they have to like move the baby out of your like hips, or because the baby was pushing out too. So when he was born, he had a little bit of a cone head because, you know, my body was pushing and he was pushing, like he was trying to come out, but I just couldn't. So I could feel like when they pulled him out, it was like this it's very difficult to explain this feeling, but I felt it. Like I guess like I felt like they were ripping in my like intestine out or like something from inside of me. um, and that was pretty gnarly. I remember like going like, oh my god, like, and like the nurses and the doctors like kind of like holding me and like reassuring me that I was gonna be okay. So, um, and then he was out and he was very alert. He was awake, wide-eyed, looking everywhere, and even the doctor was like, "I've never seen a baby so awake." And they checked him, wrapped him up, and I feel like it was quick because I think all of that happened like in an hour. Because I went into like at 7, by 7:58 he was born, and then like maybe 20 minutes later they had me stitched up and ready to go. I could be lying, it could have been more, but it felt like that much time. It felt very fast. They stitched me back up, and then they transferred me back into the room we were originally in. They got all my stuff together, and they let me do like skin to skin bonding with the baby. Of course, I had to have a mask the whole time, so it was upsetting because I wanted to smell him. I wanted to, you know, kiss him, but I couldn't. I couldn't for weeks because I was scared. So that was a little upsetting, but I could still hug him and hold him and breastfeed him, which is another fucking shit show. So, so yeah, we were there for a little bit, and then they take you to like your room where you stay the rest of the time you're there. They had me like at the end by myself because of course I had COVID, so it was like having the fucking cooties, I swear. All the nurses were super sweet. I feel like I had a nurse every 6 hours. I feel like their shift switched that much, and they were only assigned to me, which was pretty cool. But I didn't want to be bothering them. But you know, they give you medication to make you start feeling again because your legs are numb, like you can't move them. So by the end of the night, I could move my legs and stuff, but I couldn't. I wasn't walking. They still had me in the bed. And I was taking care of him. They would come in, they would give him to me, and I would breastfeed him, and kind of like normal, except they were like dressed in their COVID outfits, COVID prevention outfits, and he was able to feed. I was able to produce colostrum, and he was good. Unfortunately, once we got back home on like the 5th, whatever day your milk's supposed to come in, my milk is very, very, very slow. Very little. I probably make 15 milliliters because it's like, so like 1/3 of an ounce, which is very little. I pump 3 times and I get an ounce. So, yeah, I've taken everything. I've taken vitamins, supplements, the lactation cookies, the teas. I drank avena, maicena, atole, all these things. I've in Latin culture they make you eat like stuff that helps you with your milk, which is like milk stuff, like warm stuff to help you. They want you to eat like chicken broths, like stuff like that. I did all of it. I even had beer. They told me to have beer, and it's still the same. It's been obviously a month, and my protection is still low. I still pump, but unfortunately, that just meant that, like I said, I was able to feed him colostrum, and he was fine. But by the time he got home, he obviously was a little bit more hungry, and I wasn't able to. And that was a crazy night. He was crying. He was hysterical. First time parents, we were freaking out. So our last resort was to give him formula. Surprisingly enough, he never got jaundice. His last appointment, the doctor was like, he was born 7 pounds 14 ounces. He went in and he was 7 pounds 7 ounces. So they didn't really like that, but they had me up his formula, which it's weird because I feel like they're always so hungry. I don't know where it goes, but anyways, he went today and he weighed 8 pounds 6 ounces or something like that, so they're very happy about that, so that's good. Unfortunately, he did get a very, not a severe, but he did get pretty bad acne, baby acne, which is all hormonal. Happens to some babies very mildly. He got it more severe, but there's like even worse cases in him. So my poor baby has all these blemishes. They gave him a cream, and that's helped. But obviously it sucks because I want to show him off. But I was able to get him to take photos before, so I have really pretty photos of him. But so he's doing good, and it was really rough the first 2 weeks. I'm not gonna lie. It was really rough that first week coming home. I felt like everything was like, I felt like so much had happened. My mind was like processing it at the same time that it was happening. I was kind of like in shock. I think I was going through a lot. Maybe I was going through like postpartum depression. It was just like a lot of things. I did feel very sad. There was times I just wanted to cry, and I cried. It wasn't terrible though. Thank God, like it was just like a few times here and there, and it wasn't like extreme depression or anything like that. I just felt very emotional, I guess, and I just was upset about how things happened. I was upset about being alone. You know, when I was in there after my C-section, and it was just me and him, you know, I was in so much pain, and it felt like my cut was like I felt like my skin was ripped. Like when I would move, it was insane. It was intense, and my uterus, everything was painful. And I like to think I have a good pain tolerance, and they were giving me Norco, and I was literally like, as soon as like the 4 hours were, I was like, can I get another? And I'm usually not someone to do that. And I did really good though. I only took pain medications when I was at the hospital. Once I got home, they took forever to give me my prescription, so I just took a Tylenol one day, and that's it. And I haven't really had any more pain, and I tolerated it. So I think I did pretty good, considering the surgery I got. And so, but those days that I was there, it was very painful, and I think it hurt me that I was alone, and I was in so much pain, but I was with him, and I was still like, you know, doing what I had to do, and it was a lot of things. I think I just felt like so many things happened to me and him, and it was upsetting. Obviously it was devastating, but we're here, we're alive. He tested negative for COVID. He hasn't had any like symptoms or anything. I hope he continues that way. So I mean, sorry, we're back. My camera had turned off. So yeah, this is probably a long video, so I'll cut it short already. But yes, nobody really prepares you. Nobody tells you that it's gonna be crazy intense, and it was. And I mean, it's better. I feel a bit more comfortable, but still, you know, it's still scary. But every day I think we get a little bit better. I'm learning to understand him more, and just I feel like I'm picking up on his cues. So yes, that's that. I'm trying to move back into the rhythm of my life. We'll see what that means. We'll see what videos or what I do, if I post, if I don't. But overall, this experience was, you know, more than anything for me to reflect and see, to have, to remember my experience and what I went through. So yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Hopefully I'll post something, I'll do something, maybe some fun baby stuff, I don't know. Oh my god, are products that I regret buying, or my favorite baby products, or anyways, thank you so much for being here. If you are, and if you're listening, if you're not, and if you did, thank you. I'll see you guys soon, and wishing everybody the best. Stay safe. Bye.